In the early 1900s, the population was growing along the Wasatch Front. But the water in the state is in the Uinta Basin and flowing into the Colorado River drainage.
It's a challenge because it's in a whole different watershed than where all the people are.
The Central Utah Project is the largest water development project ever undertaken in the state of Utah.
Someone had the vision to say, we will go along those canyons coming out of the southern Uintas, and we'll pick up a little water out of each one of those, and we'll use that to serve the population along the Wasatch Front. It's just an astounding vision.
There's no chance that we'd have the population we have in Utah County without the water availability we've had through the Central Utah Project. There's just no chance.
Had we not been able to finish the Central Utah Project, we would have essentially had a portion of a project that collected water but had no way to deliver it. From 1985 to today, all of the development along the Wasatch Front has been on the back of the Central Utah Project. I can only imagine what the Wasatch Front would look like if there were no more water after 1985. I don't know what that would do to population, to job growth, to economic development. Those questions will never have to be answered because the project is delivering and has delivered water when the water was needed.
In the 1970s, environmental laws were passed. There were other delays in development of the project, and there were significant cost overruns.
We were faced with a significant dilemma that we had to go and ask Congress for $1 billion.
CUPCA was passed in 1992. The whole concept of the CUPCA, it was pretty radical.
CUPCA detailed very specifically agreements that we all negotiated for how a modern, sustainable water project should be planned and should be constructed.
They formulated some legislation, worked with environmental groups, authorized completion of the Central Utah Project, increased the cost ceiling, and allowed the district to construct those facilities instead of the Bureau of Reclamation. The Bureau did a great job of constructing the collection system and enlarging Strawberry Reservoir. CUPCA was tasked with the design and construction of delivery facilities to the Wasatch Front. Since 1994, CUPCA has been constructing the pipelines from Six Water to Provo Canyon and to Santaquin.
An aspect that CUPCA changed was it meant that mitigation, like environmental projects, could be conducted at the same time as the water development projects. So you would have a project putting pipe in the ground, at the same time you have a project restoring a river that's been impacted.
The primary partnership include our agency, the Mitigation Commission, and we are over making sure that the environmental commitments are implemented and protected and sustainable. The Central Utah Water Conservancy District is kind of the workhorse of getting the water development projects built, and they are carefully working with Reclamation to provide additional engineering expertise. Reclamation is also a huge support network for all of the parties. And then we have the CUPCA office of Department of Interior, the quiet and critical partner. They make sure we get funded and keep track of the requirements in the legislation. They're really essential glue to kind of keeping the whole partnership working.
It's turned out to be extremely successful.
One of the greatest things that CUPCA did is it set up a framework where each partner can leverage their best abilities and assets.
I would go to meetings in other states and they were like, yeah, there's nothing like that here. We have meetings and people just argue with each other and nothing gets accomplished.
It's not that we're always totally in agreement, but we're able to get there.
Our average overhead has been 3%. That's remarkable. You will never find a federal water project that is as efficient and as lean as this one is with a 3% overhead.
Created a highly effective, collaborative relationship characterized by mutual respect, a high degree of coordination and cooperation, and has put in the ground facilities that are going to serve the public for 100 years.
Getting any money out of the federal government these days is very, very difficult. There are severe ramifications for what happens if we stop.
We've been in the construction phase of CUPCA, which really is just a continuation of the construction of the CUP. And now, over the next 2 years, we'll wrap up that construction portion.
The mission is changing. The people are changing. And so the challenge we have ahead of us is to move to the next phase in the CUPCA relationship.
The partnership is still vital. The need for this cooperation and collaboration is not as apparent, perhaps, to some people. That pipeline is completed. That mitigation project is done. What's there left to really talk about? It's in the operation of those facilities as well as the mitigation measures that I think it's important that we continue to have the cooperation.
To anyone coming to this project, forget everything you thought you knew about federal reclamation projects, because this is unique.
We have shelves and shelves of environmental documents that have been done over the years to analyze the impacts of specific parts of the project. And it specifically calls out, here's the environmental commitments that were tied to this aspect of the project that need to carry forward into the future.
Things are written down in paper somewhere on a shelf, but if people aren't reminding each other of those things on a regular basis, we will lose them.
It really does take a team of specialists, and that teamwork of sharing and remembering all that information has been critical in keeping us on track and keeping us focused on where we need to go moving into the future.
And I hope that you take a few minutes to understand the complexity, not only of the project, but the politics that allowed the project to move forward, the funding that's there.
The individuals who implemented CUPCA created a sense of collaboration and working together. One of the things that concerns me is that people new to this project are not going to understand that it is the choice of individuals to work together collaboratively that has created the success.
To all new employees, regardless of what agency you work for, what I want you to know is that our door is open. Let's not be siloed, but let's work together. And I think that's been the key to our success with CUPCA.
It's about people. People let go of their egos. People allowed the mission and the value of the project and the value of that water that we were going to deliver to become paramount. It was more about how do we meet our mission? And that's been something that I think Central, Reclamation, and CUPCA have all put at the forefront. And that's what makes it, I think, an amazing partnership.
I can't think of a better cause than join a group that will provide drinking water not only for today, but for generations into the future.